In 2018, a bold trade made Chicago Bears fans believe a title was finally within reach. Years later, the bill has come due. Along with it, a rebuilding team, a pressured coach, and a skeptical fan base. Now, a new opportunity arises. The scenario repeats itself. A disgruntled star, a defense searching for identity, and a still cheap quarterback on the cap. The question is straightforward. Should the team dive headfirst into another $1 million bet on a defensive star before revealing the details and analyzing whether this potential move makes sense? Go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any episodes about the Chicago Bears. Here, we don't gloss over things, we analyze. TJ Watt, the defensive icon of the Pittsburgh Steelers, is at the center of a rumor that, if realized, could completely change the course of the Chicago Bears in the coming seasons. At 30 years old, the edge rusher, a 7-time Pro Bowler, NFL sack leader in 3 different seasons, and with a history of dominance that few defenders in history have achieved, is unhappy with his contractual situation. And although the Steelers have not shown signs of wanting to trade him, the mere fact that there are talks behind the scenes has reignited an old dilemma in Chicago. Is it worth sacrificing draft picks for a ready-made star? The scenario gained traction after Adam Schefter reported that multiple teams are probing the Steelers for a possible trade for Watt, who notably missed the team's mini-camp. One of the boldest rumors came from within the Bears' own fan community at Windy City Gridiron, where columnist Mongo Peanut proposed an aggressive offer. A first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a sixth-round pick in 2026 in exchange for the defender. The inspiration? Exactly what Chicago did in 2018 when acquiring Khalil Mack. But is the current situation comparable? Let's look at the facts. TJ Watt is not just an elite player. He is a statistical anomaly. He has 108 sacks in just 109 games, making him the second fastest player in league history to reach 100 sacks, behind only Reggie White. In 2024, even with a struggling team, Watt produced 11.5 sacks and led the NFL with 6 forced fumbles. He is the type of player who changes the opponent's game plan and transforms an average defense into a dominant unit. However, there are 2 factors weighing against this move. The first is age. Watt has already turned 30, and while he is still in shape and performing at a high level, the window for elite performance for pass rushers tends to narrow from this point. The second point, and perhaps the most decisive, is the philosophy of general manager Ryan Poles. Since arriving in Chicago, Poles has avoided high-risk moves for expensive veterans. His rebuilding strategy is based on the draft, internal development, and cap management. Betting on a name like Watt would require not only sacrificing draft capital, but also a new expensive contract that could jeopardize the franchise's financial future. On the other hand, there is a very strong argument in favor of this potential move. Quarterback Caleb Williams is still at the beginning of his rookie contract. This means that for at least 3 seasons, the Bears can invest heavily in other roster areas without having to spend a fortune on the QB. Exactly the model that has worked for teams like the Rams, Eagles, and Bengals in recent years. Additionally, Watt's arrival would create a pass-rushing duo with Montez Sweat that could rank among the best in the league. And for a team facing quarterbacks like Jared Goff and Jordan Love twice a year, having an elite pass rush is a strategic necessity. The parallel with Khalil Mack, however, serves as a warning. The 2018 trade brought immediate results, but the team had no offense, no QB, and even less continuity in the coaching staff. The current version of the Bears, with Williams, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and a theoretically ascending coaching staff, offers a more complete environment. In other words, the chance of success now seems greater. Still, the Steelers' reluctance to part with Watt and Poles' conservative nature make the negotiation unlikely, at least for now, but the mere speculation shows that the fans are impatient. And in Chicago, patience tends to run out quickly. And if you think this discussion was already heated, hold on, because the next news brings a name that has been gaining traction behind the scenes as a possible pillar of the Bears' defense, and could directly influence this decision-making process. While attention was focused on the speculation surrounding TJ Watt, Dayo Odeyingbo's name emerged as an increasingly relevant piece within the Chicago Bears defensive project. Signed this offseason for 3 years and $48 million, the former Colts player arrives with the status of a strategic addition, but not as a star, at least not yet. Dayo Odeyingbo, 25, is a classic case of an up-and-coming player. A second-round pick in the 2021 draft, he had his best year last season with Indianapolis, 8 sacks, 15 QB hits, and a pressure rate above 10%. Numbers that, on their own, may not impress as much as the way he reached them. Odeyingbo began to play more snaps on the interior of the defensive line, showing versatility and explosiveness that pleased the Bears coaching staff led by defensive coordinator Eric Washington. The bet on Dayo is not just technical, it's also financial. With a contract that is below the amounts paid to elite pass rushers, he represents a typical approach by Ryan Poles, finding talent before it explodes, paying for projection, and avoiding inflated contracts with veterans. And here lies the key point of the discussion. The Bears may be betting that with Odeyingbo on one side and Sweat on the other, their defensive line already has the potential to be dominant. The arrival of TJ Watt in this context could be seen as redundant, or even an unnecessary risk, but there is another possible reading. Odeyingbo's arrival does not close the doors to further reinforcements. On the contrary, it could be the first step in assembling an aggressive, fast, and physical defensive unit, something akin to what the 49 ERs have done in recent seasons, gathering various talents on the line to maintain the level even with constant rotation. The problem is that so far, Odeyingbo is still an unknown. He has shown flashes, but he does not have the consistency or dominance of a TJ Watt. And in a team betting on a rookie quarterback and aiming to compete as early as 2025, relying on potentials instead of certainties can be a dangerous luxury. In minicamp practices, Odeyingbo has already demonstrated leadership and quick adaptation to the scheme. His chemistry with Sweat has also caught the attention of local reporters. But there is a difference between producing in closed sessions and making a real impact in the trenches of the NFL, especially in decisive games. What is at stake here is the type of identity the Bears want to build. If the idea is a young, versatile, and financially balanced defense, Odeyingbo's presence makes sense. If, on the other hand, the plan is to accelerate the championship window by leveraging Williams' rookie contract, the logic pushes the team to be more aggressive, including negotiations like that of TJ Watt. The situation is clear. The Chicago Bears are at a turning point. On one side, they have a talented quarterback with a cheap contract, a defense undergoing renovation, and prudent management led by Ryan Poles. On the other, there arises the rare opportunity to bring in one of the greatest defenders of the decade, even if it costs dearly in picks and flexibility. In my view, the Bears have a real chance to compete in the NFC as early as 2025, but not based on assumptions. If Odeyingbo explodes and the defense takes a leap, great. But if there are doubts, the arrival of a TJ Watt could be the difference between dreaming and truly competing. The time for conservative decisions has passed. If they want to compete at a high level, Chicago needs to act as if they want to win, not as if they're still rebuilding. And now I want to know from you, Bears fans, would you be willing to send a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a sixth-round pick for TJ Watt right now? Or would you prefer to keep the picks and bet on the growth of the young core like Odeyingbo? Leave your opinion in the comments, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Here, it's serious analysis with the courage to say what no one else says.